Hello everyone, how are you doing this morning? This is Daryl Guberman, CEO of Guberman PMC LLC, quality consulting firm here in Connecticut. We just wanted to show you through a thumbnail that we're going to attach to this video that the American National Standards Institute and the American National Crediting Board, I guess, are embarrassed because I showed everyone that sitting on their management committee board is Boeing. And they can grant, suspend, and withdraw certification, along with Cargill and some others on this web page. And you go to the web page now, and it's gone. A lot of verbiage, no names of companies, nothing that is on there. It's what I've told you before. Boeing, in 2002, several things happened. And let's get back to September 9/11, okay? September 2001. You have 9/11 happen. Boeing had a contract for 500 plus ships, aircraft. What took place is basically Boeing got their order cut by 100 plus ships, and they came out and they said they're going to have to lay off between 20 and 30,000 employees, which was actually great for them. It meant more cost-cutting initiatives for the CEO of the business at that time. We look 7 months later, and in April of 2002, Boeing put out a supplier notification concerning NADCAP for special processes, whether it's heat treatment, welding, or non-destructive testing, radiography, etc., penetrant inspection. And what they did is they said that the only company that's allowed to do that certification is PRI, which is Performance Review Institute. And just send in your certificate, send in your parts, and Boeing doesn't have to send any inspection to ensure the integrity of those parts are actually been heat treated properly or welded properly or what have you. But we continue on. That was in April. In July of the same year, they came out with a supplier bulletin, a PQIT-00, I think that's 2-001, July 1st, 2002. It stated that send us your AS9100 certificate, which was for aerospace, as long as it's ANSI-ANAB accredited, and you just send us your cert, send us your parts, and Boeing does not have to send any sort of inspection team in to look at your facility, whether it's flight safety parts or anything else. Then we come over and look, and on their supplier portal, Boeing supplier portal, it states must be third-party registrars must be ANSI-ANAB or international equivalent. The reason why is because, again, Boeing sits on their board that can grant, suspend, and withdraw certification. We have that document. You'll see it as the thumbnail for this video. The reason why I tell you this is because we move up to 2009 when the FAA made Boeing a regulatory authority, which meant they are the FAA. The FAA went in and made some of Boeing's employees FAA inspectors, where they can, new aircraft technologies like MCAS did not have to be reported back to the FAA because Boeing is the FAA. Between 2009 and 2019, for 10 years, Boeing had free reign to do what they wanted with design and development of aircraft, new aircraft technologies, testing and inspection. All the rest of that was under the belt of Boeing, not the FAA. They want you to think that it was under the FAA, but no, it was not. During this time, during the implementation of MCAS, you had a gentleman, his name was Robert Kelly Oatberg, the new CEO at Boeing. He was the CEO during the development, manufacture, and implementation of the MCAS system on the 737 MAX, the aircraft that took out 348 people between Ethiopian Air and Indonesian Air. He was the CEO. When the whole thing happened with those two aircraft, Dennis Muhlenberg, the CEO of Boeing, was taken to task. The subcommittee, Homeland Security, took him to task about that and never asked about, they asked about MCAS, but they never brought Daryl Robert Kelly Oatberg up on, the stand to have him being inquisitioned. Why? Who knows? But all I know is that he's sitting there at Boeing now with 348 lives, ghosts on his shoulder, and I keep on saying that. You have the factor that when the FAA made Boeing a FAA regulator in 2009, as I told you, they didn't have to tell even the pilots or airplane companies, airliners that, their CEOs, you didn't have to tell them anything. And now the DOJ is saying Boeing lied to the FAA. They didn't lie. The DOJ, by the way, is a customer of ANSI-ANAB. They buy services from them. Also, the Department of Homeland Security that I stood up on April 17th, 2024, I stood up with some paperwork that showed that not only is Sam Salipar, the whistleblower, on that day on April 17th, telling the factor about new aircraft designs. In fact, I just saw an article concerning cracking going on the 777 fuselage. You can't make this stuff up. My background is composites. They've had problems at their composite facility for the V-22 Osprey and Bell Boeing V-22 Osprey in their composite facility in Pennsylvania. They got fined $8.1 million for 11 years of. They didn't write down the times and temperatures. They skipped this, they skipped that, and do you want to fly in that aircraft? For those people who have family members that are flying in the V-22, if one of those things go down, it could be because of a part failure, because it wasn't properly cured, correctly. Because in composites, that's my background, specialist in composites, graphite, fiberglass, metal matrix composites, boron, etc., nanotechnologies, also ceramics. If the time, temperature, and pressure are critical on making a solid, rock-solid, structurally sound part when it comes to composites. For 11 years, Boeing was a little bit messed up, so to speak, and then in 2017, they got caught finally by fudging documentation for the metals that were being put into their ships, along with Kobe Steel, the metals manufacturer, the supplier of materials. I tell you these things because when you look at the factor from 2009 to 2019, you have the factor that Boeing was an FAA regulator. In 2019, an FAA spokesman came out and said the FAA never will allow an company to self-certify and or be self-regulate or be a policeman for the processes that go on in their shop. Well, they're lying about that. The DOJ, as I said, is also not only a member of ANSI-ANAB, but they are a customer of them. The Department of Homeland Security is not just a member of ANSI-ANAB, but they are a customer buying for a service, some sort of service that ANSI-ANAB give the, or with a price, of course, give the DHS. You have the Department of Homeland Security, you have the Department of Justice, you have the FDA, who also is a customer of the Department, of ANSI-ANAB. And then the other one is the Department of Commerce is also not only just a member on ANSI-ANAB's board, but they are also a customer. You know what type of crap that goes on then? You have Boeing that basically got away with what they got away with, but Collins is even worse. You have the guy from Collins, the guy who was the master of the ship, smiling like he does, saying that he's going to roll up his sleeves at Boeing. I put a 42-page document in with 11 letters of recommendation. I only got the return card request. I am a shareholder of Boeing. Okay, I own stock in Boeing, and this is a way the board treats a shareholder. For those of you who are listening to me, who own shares of stock, do not buy any more. For those of you who are flying and you are going on vacation or a business trip and you see your aircraft is a Boeing, transfer it over to an Airbus. Go. Because as a shareholder, if that's the least respect that I get from the 11 board members, that to me puts your life in jeopardy, especially after 20 years of quality neglect. And now all of a sudden they're trying to button up the ship. How can you button up the ship when you have a gentleman like Robert Kelly Oatberg, okay, who's got 348 ghosts on his shoulder going into Boeing? That doesn't bode too well. 203-556-1493 or Daryl, TQRS, @yahoo.com. I thank you.